米大リーグドジャースの大谷翔平は日本時間16日、本拠地でのメッツ戦に先発登板し、6回2安打2四球10奪三振1失点と好投しました。この試合ではドジャース移籍後初めて指名打者を兼ねず、投手に専念しました。スイーパー、カーブ、スプリットなど多彩な球種を織り交ぜた投球は、米国の解説陣からも高く評価されました。6回1死の場面では米気を 71.5 マイル、約115キロの球で空振り三振に仕留めるなど、相手打線を圧倒しました。全米中継を担当した米スポーツ専門局 ESPN で解説を務めたオーレル・ハーシュハイザー氏は、彼が球種を織り交ぜるのが大好きだ。土台になるのは速球だが、どの球種の引き金を引くことも恐れないと称賛しました。メジャー通算204勝を誇り、サイ・ヤング賞にも輝いたハーシュハイザー氏は、大谷の変幻自在の投球術について、全盛期のユー・ダルビッシュを見ているようだと語り、ダルビッシュ有になぞらえて絶賛しました。これらの模様を日本語字幕付きでご紹介します。
You know, it's interesting, Dave. You brought up global. You and Dan both talked about it, and we talked about Jackie more than just breaking the color barrier for black players. But the Dodgers were always a team under Lasorda, and now obviously with you, Dave, that was international. So you have probably the biggest international superstar in the sport. Can you imagine the sport without a Shohei Ohtani?
Absolutely not. And I was thinking back to, there were Japanese players in concentration camps here trying to play the game that they love. And, without Shohei Ohtani, I don't know where this game would be. I would just argue that it's, the World Series, 50 million eyeballs watching Game 7. It's at the best place that it's ever been. And it's, yes, because of guys like Shohei and among others, Aaron Judge, and so many great players of color and coming from different places. So Major League Baseball has done a fantastic job, and it just shows that baseball is an all-encompassing game of all cultures and creeds.
He crushed the color barrier. He didn't just break it. He crushed the color barrier, and the faces of the game right now are, like you said, it's Judge and Ohtani. But if you just hone in right now on 2026, Jordan Walker has the most home runs in the sport with the St. Louis Cardinals. Chandler Simpson has the highest batting average. The top 6 RBI producers in the sport are players of color, including your own center fielder, Andy Paz. The #1 pitcher in baseball is Jose Soriano. The active saves leader is your former closer, Kenley Jansen.
Greg. Wow.
How proud would Jackie be right now if he just looked at where the game is?
He would be very proud, and I think that's it's about getting the best players to play against the best. That's Major League Baseball. So I think at the end result, I think Jackie would be very proud. But I do think that what Jackie Robinson Day and each day going forward, I think the main thing about it is the sacrifice that he made, and that's what I would imagine he wouldn't want to get lost on everyone is the pain, the scrutiny from opponents, teammates, staff, media that he had to go through every day to play the game that he loved. And so that's why, for me, and I think for everyone in baseball, is to understand, let's not forget how we got here. And I think that it's easy to look at the fruits and what we have, and also to complain about the things that really aren't that important, and realize what Jackie gave up to pay it forward to then, again, play the game that he was so passionate about.
For the first time, Shohei Ohtani is not your DH. He is pitching. What's your thought process there?
Yeah, you know what? He took a ball off the back of the shoulder, the scapula, the other day. And I think for us, talking to the training staff, Mark Pryor, the pitching coach, just making sure that what's the best way to get him through this start with some soreness is let him just focus on pitching, taking the hitting off the table. And, in between innings, he'll probably be down below getting it worked on. But, yeah, he feels good, and we get Dalton rushing in there to take some at-bats.
Doc, thanks.
Thanks, Buster.
Joe, back to you.
All right, Buster, thank you, and thanks to Dave Roberts for stopping by before tonight's game. He gets to hand the ball to Shohei Ohtani tonight. He has yet to give up an earned run. This is start number 3 on the season. The 32-year-old in July, 31 at the moment. Japanese-born right-hander, and you look at the numbers, there are his first 2 starts, just 1 unearned run allowed. And he is taking on a Mets team that's looking for hits, looking for runs, and sitting the kind of guy you want to face when you're looking for hits and looking for runs.
Robleski and Yamamoto have shut the Mets down, and now they have to face Ohtani, a 7-pitch pitcher, which is throwing more curveballs and split fingers, so it's going to be a very interesting night for the Mets.
Mets come into this game having lost 7 straight, a record of 7-11, while the Dodgers 13-4. And that ties for the best record out of the gate for a reigning world champion over the last 100 years. So they're picking up where they left off last year. Here's Ohtani, here is Lindor, and there's ball 1.
I mentioned the 7 pitches from Ohtani, but the breaking stuff has been excellent, and I think it's because he's a year removed from rehabbing from his Tommy John surgery.
You know what I love about Ohtani? Full windup. We don't see that much anymore. Most guys have a hybrid windup that looks more like pitching from the stretch.
It's very old school. Takes his head and his body offline and then finds the line over the rubber.
A little bit of heat at 98, which is what he averaged in his last start. A start that he said his mechanics were a little bit off. Must be nice to be off with your mechanics and average 98. And he starts his night with a strikeout as Lindor goes down 1 away.
Elevates the fastball a few times. It's going to be really hard to hit this ball up and away like that. If you do hit it, it's probably a pop-up to short, a fly ball to left, weakly hit.
Brings in Luis Robert Jr., who the Mets picked up from the White Sox. Solidified center field. Really good player a few years ago. Hello, up and in. Ball 1, and a guy that when he's right and healthy can be as good as any center fielder in the game. And wow.
Do you guys remember Monday? You guys hit me in the scapula. So a little payment due by Ohtani.
And now back into the strike zone, a ball and a strike.
Old school delivery with an old school method.
You think there was something behind that?
No.
Don't start, Ron.
He just
don't
missed.
start.
Well, you haven't done a game in a while. I thought maybe you'd take the...
It's going to brawl. Here's a breaking ball popped up right side, foul ball. Freeman will watch it become a souvenir, strike 2.
You know, when I was a kid and you would listen to professional pitching coaches, they had kind of 2 trains of thought. They would say drop and drive or rock and fire. And Ohtani's more of a rock and fire. You'll watch his shoulders kind of go backwards and forwards as he generates all that velocity.
Here's his 1-2 pitch. Pretty good swing by Robert, fouled away.
Since 1969, hard to be the drop and drive guy with the mound being so low. You know, where would you throw the ball? 50 feet in front of home plate.
That's right.
But you are so right. He is a rock and fire kind of guy.
Pretty good battle here with Beatty.
That was the first splitter. His arm kind of dropped a little bit. It was a little flatter, Oral.
With 1 out, 2-2 pitch. Back-to-back strikeouts.
Down all the way to 72 miles an hour. He's gone over 100 and now down as low as 72 with this slow curveball.
It's he has 7 pitches. It feels like he's making up more.
A little bit like Yu Darvish in his prime.
That was more of a challenge for the catcher when there was no pitch count.
For sure.
Ohtani strikes out the side. Dodgers keep rolling. Mets still struggling. And the bottom of the 6th inning at Dodger Stadium rolls in. He has rung up 10 strikeouts, just struck out the side here in the 6th inning. Plays this game with such a joy. I think he's a guy, Oral and Ron, that gets the big picture. I remember the last All-Star game I did. I met him for the first time in Colorado, in Denver at the All-Star game. He'd been doing everything for the Angels that entire first half. He said yes to the home run derby. He thought, man, what more does this guy have? And then there he is in the All-Star game pitching and doing his thing. I think he gets the big picture and knows what he is doing. It's never been done. Everybody said, oh, well, it hadn't been done since Babe Ruth. No. Babe Ruth did not do what Ohtani is doing. Here's a shot to right.
It's obvious who the guy wearing 42 on the mound is, and Shohei Ohtani, a guy you called an all-star game when he was with Anaheim. I believe Stanford Steve was giving me the rundown on that. But to get the full Shohei experience with this Dodger team that is an absolute wagon, Joe, what do you do? How would you describe all that?
It's unlike anything I've seen, and I've covered this game a long time. I don't know who you would compare this team to right now. They're so far and away the best team in the game. They do everything right. Their manager is outstanding and extremely underrated. He does a terrific job getting this team ready to play. I mean, Ohtani is just lights out on the mound. The guy's a 4-time MVP for what he does with his bat. Nobody's ever done that in the history of this game. They can beat you a lot of different ways. They're good in their bullpen. They play good defense. It just goes on and on and on. You know, it's just a question of who can hang with them, and then when the postseason starts, because the Dodgers will be in the postseason, can anybody beat them in a series? And right now, the way they're playing, the answer would probably be no.
Sometimes players take a minute to adjust to being in a DH role. Do you think being like a backup pitcher has kind of helped you manage that more so?
Yeah, I'd almost give props to the player development with this organization. I DH'd a good bit throughout the minor leagues. That was kind of my off day, so to say, when I wasn't catching. And I started to learn a little bit towards the end how to manage that role. It's not an easy role. Seeing Shohei do it every day, I think that's what is so special. And to see his mindset and to see his approach as to how he takes on the DH role, it's arguably harder than playing in the field every inning. You have to fight a mental toll a little bit from pitch to pitch, at bat to at bat. You sit around for 2 or 3 innings sometimes, and that's your time to think on whatever happened that it lasted. But no, I would say I give my props to player development in this organization for giving me that opportunity to obviously DH a good bit throughout the minors. I mean, it's Shohei. I don't have too much more to say on top of that. I think it was cool to see him basically just put all of his attention into what he's doing on the mound, and not that he wasn't already one of the better pitchers in the big leagues now. But I think he's arguably one of the best now when you give him that opportunity to just solely worry about pitching. Everyone knows what he can do with a bat. Everyone knows what he can do with a baseball. But being able to separate the two sometimes is honestly better for the player.
When you've caught him in the past, like, can you sort of see him like reach to a different gear when he gets runners on base or after he gets up a run, knowing the situation?
Yeah, he's as competitive as they come. It's you take pride as a catcher and a player being a competitor, and to be able to see it physically, emotionally, the way he pitches on the mound, I think it's pretty cool. It's one of those things where it's like, all right, you did this, now watch this, kind of thing. And only the best players in the world can do things like that on a field like this.
How much better do you think he could be as a pitcher if he only focused on that?
Honestly, I don't even want to worry about that, because he's the best player on this earth for a reason, and the biggest reason to that is because he does both so well. So I honestly, in a perfect world, I never want to even have to think about that. But I'll let him know. If he wants to let me take some at-bats in the DH role, I'll take him. No, he's, like I said, I never want to think about that. I want to let him continue to do what he's doing on a baseball field, regardless of whether it's on a mound or in a box. It's fun to watch.
Doc's talked a lot about recently, like, about the confidence and, like, some of, like, the younger players, like you guys. Yeah. What do you think, how you performed tonight, what does that do to your confidence?
Yeah, anything you do to help this team win as a young guy, it gives you a boost of confidence. And I mean, you look around this clubhouse, you see some of the superstars do this every night. And I think it's a testament as to the young players starting to strive for something like that. And starting to push themselves, all right, like, I'm going to help this team win day in, day out, rather than, all right, you have a big swing once a month. Everyone runs into something, you know. But no, I think that's what allows this team to continue to get better day after day. It's just the competitive edge of how many superstars we have in this room.
쇼헤이 선수가 오늘 좋은 투구 내용 보여줬는데 그거 보시면서 어떤 기분이 들었는지 궁금합니다.
워낙에 또 뛰어난 선수이기 때문에 쇼헤이 선수답게 멋진 피칭을 보여준 것 같습니다.
Yes, he will. He'll be in there on Friday, but certainly a really good showing by Dalton in the DH spot. Good for him, and you know, I thought it was a good decision, you know, to have Shohei just focus on pitching, and did a heck of a job tonight. It was actually really good to watch, you know, him just focus on one thing, and you know, I thought that just channeling all that energy into pitching was helpful. And the last couple outings, I felt he was fighting himself a little bit at times, but tonight he was really good. And I think even the fifth inning got a little bit kind of wonky a little bit, but he kind of reined it back in and came back out for the sixth and was really good.
You ever see any signs that the shoulder was bothering him?
No, none whatsoever. And even I just talked to the trainer, and he didn't come in for treatment as far as icing it or anything like that, so that was a good sign.
What did it tell you when you see him kind of rear back in that fifth inning and throw 4 straight fastballs at like 100 to get out of that?
Yeah, I thought he was. He has a little extra gear when he needs it, and I'm sure he was frustrated about giving up a run and came back and really went after. I don't know if it was Pham or something like that, but yeah, it was 98 all night, some 99s, and then in the fifth inning and reaching back for 100. That's nice.
Were you thinking about ending his night there with late warming and then just like sending him back out in the sixth to see him kind of finish the night the way he did?
I was. I thought in that fifth inning it got a little bit long. Pitch count started to get up there. I think he was approaching 30 pitches in that one inning. So if we were going to get to somebody, it was I was thinking about potentially pulling the plug right there. But once he finished that inning, I felt that I wanted to give him the opportunity to go back out there for the sixth.
I think he used like 3 different pitches on the strikeouts. Are you just seeing his kind of command with that whole arsenal improve as he kind of keeps making starts coming, this far removed from surgery now?
Absolutely. He's just got such good feel. And even his curveball wasn't great tonight as far as acquiring strikes, but the fastball was lifey, and the sweeper, the split, use that when he needed to, and so yeah, just his ability to have the feel and the velocity is pretty remarkable.
And how much do you think Shohei and Yoshinobu might make each other better this year?
I definitely think they will. Iron sharpens iron. We got 2 great athletes, 2 great pitchers, and I think it's certainly, I'm not going to say a competition, but I do think that they both make each other better. Yeah.
When you see the way that Shohei ended his outing, does it kind of solidify that the schedule program that you have him on is working?
I think so. I think so, and he's always going to say that he doesn't need the extra rest, and whatever is of benefit to his teammates, the other starting pitchers. I think that's what he would kind of default to. But with what we ask of him as far as on the hitting side, and then the recovery part, and so to give him that extra day, then also it introduces another starter, whether it's with the 6-man rotation. It just, I think our process is right, and the pitchers are benefiting.
ピッチャーだけって言われた時の反応、リアクションは。
ちょっとびっくりはしましたけど、チーム的としてもいい戦略というかじゃないかなとは思うので、もちろんデッドボール当たってピッチングの方に専念してほしいって言われてたので、そこにまず集中しようかなと思ってました。
そうですね、投手的に投手だけっていうので何か違いは。
イニング間がやっぱ長くは感じるので、変な感じはしましたけど、それでもしっかりとまず集中できてたので良かったかなと思います。
なんか特別なこととかしました？
いつもより打者に対しての対策を取る時間は多かったので、そういう意味では有意義な時間が多かったかなと思います。
そういうの高かったですけども。
そうですね。1点取られた後はちょっと力は入れましたけど、全体的にはリラックスして投げれたので、そこは前回より進歩かなと思います。
得点された後に一番早い4球早かったんですけども、そういうのを意識してやってるんですかと。
というのもシーズンやっぱり投げる中で全力をずっと100球投げるわけにはいかないので、ある程度スコアを見ながら投げないとはいけないですけど、あそこは2、3塁だったので、1本で逆転されるところですし、しっかりとも全力で抑える場面だったのかなと思ってます。
前回はちょっと疲労が溜まった感じでしたけども、じゃあそのやり方としてたまらないやり方みたいな。
そうですね。今日ピッチングだけにして打順が入りましたけど、コロラドの4連戦の前なので、そういう意味でも全体的に疲労をためないようなプランっていうのはチームとしても大事だとは思うので、そこを理解しつつ集中できれば1年間みんなが健康で 頑張れるんじゃないかなと思ってます。
もし今後こういう感じに監督が取り入れるっていうのを何かオープンですかと。
そうですね、まあ、皆さんも見ましたけどやっぱりまあ素晴らしい DH がもう一人いるので、はい、彼に任せたいなと思ってます。
Yeah, totally. I mean, we have a really good DH hit today, so I'm very open to that.
去年から投げてますとこう横の変化量というか、アームサイドの変化量が多いじゃないですか。で、軌道に行き着いた、発想というか着想というか、横の変化量の話するとこう平面的な話になっちゃうんだけど、こう立体的な視点も含めた上でと何を求めて軌道に行き着いたっていう。
スプリットでの負担をまず減らしたいなっていうところで、はい、やっぱ低回転で落としていく、引っ掛けながら落とすようなスプリットはちょっと、長いシーズンで見ると、負担がこう大きかったりはするので、どちらかというとそのシンカー寄りというかシフトウェイクで落としていくようなイメージの方が全体的な疲労としては有効なのかなとは思ってます。
ワンシーム決めになってます
もんね。でもグリップ的には、ツーシームの延長線上みたいな感じではあるので、由伸もどちらかといったらそういう感覚ですし、先発でやっていくならそっちの方が効率的なのかなと今のところは思ってますね。
まだ序盤ではありますけども、今日で規定投球回数に達している状態に入ったんですけど、1週間に1回のペースで投げる上ではやっぱり6回というのは一つの目安になると思うので、その辺どういうふうに考えてますか。
そうですね、6試合に1回投げるなら6イニング投げるっていうのが、最低限先発としては大事なのかなとは思うので、はい、もう少しこうペース的に途中までだったらね、今日は7回ぐらいまでいけそうな感じではありましたけど、そこが一つ今日は三振が多い分もう1イニング投げきれなかったのかなとは思いますけど、6イニングというのは一つの目安なのかなと思います。
今更この時期かなり遠投されてると思うんですけど、1年間戦う必要な調整なのか、先ほどファンの人が
遠投は投げ方を整えていく中での一つの、やるときもありますし、やらないときもあるし、自分が必要だなと思ったとき取り入れたいなと思ってます。
試合の話ではないですけど、まもなく娘さん生まれて1年になると思うんですけども、日々どんなことに驚かれてというか、どんなことを娘さんの成長を通して自分のこの生活とか野球への取り組みとかにいい影響っていうのを与えてますか。
難しいです。ただただ可愛いですし、そばでシーズン中はなかなか今回も遠征出れば、何週間か会えない方しますし、すごく成長するスピードは速いので近くで見たいなと思う反面、やっぱなかなか入れれないっていうのはちょっともどかしさはありますけど、フィールドと家庭というか、家はまた別で考えてはいるので、家に帰ればリラックスしたいなとは思ってますし、そこはまた切り離してやってるかなと思います。
もう丸くなったという声も丸くなったんじゃないかという声も聞こえます。価値観とか性格が変わった感じありますか。
僕がですか。僕はもともと丸いですね。
変わってない。
そうですね。これ以上丸くなるとこはないかな。
画面に映った大谷選手とか認識したりとか、もうパパっていう認識が娘さんはあったりするんですか。
どうなんですか、半々ぐらいじゃないですかね。お茶のパッケージ見てパパっていう時もあるし、分かってるのか分かってないのかちょっと分かんないですけど、
支障なければなんですけども。
How surprising is this? Just, I mean, we all see the talent in this room since spring training over the offseason. I mean, just what is the level of surprise that this has happened?
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising, but I mean, you go through these things. Maybe this is a bit extreme, probably, but it doesn't help. Facing two of the best in the game the last 2 days. You could be swinging the bat well and run into those guys and get kind of like a buzzsaw, but yeah, I don't really got much to say other than can't explain it, and we'll keep on working to figure it out.
Have you seen any sort of commonalities in the qualities of the at-bats over the last couple of games, just up and down the lineup?
You know, to be honest, the last couple of games I felt like we competed a lot better. At the end of the day, I mean, the mindset to compete, I don't really care what the at-bats look like, as long as we're in there fighting. Just two great pitchers that beat us. You know, obviously we got to be better, but I think the commonality is two great pitchers.
Who's the challenge of facing Shohei as a pitcher today?
He's a good pitcher. He's a good pitcher, but you know, at the big league level, you're gonna be facing, you know, the best of the best. So he had a very good fastball today, and we couldn't do anything against him.